Hi guys, my name is Daryl, and today I want to show you a great piece of bodybuilding history. What I have here is a 1960s arm curl machine. So Vince had a machine very similar to this at his gym, and here's Arnold Schwarzenegger using it, and also Larry Scott. And it was a very simple design. The one that Vince had was a Bob Clark design piece of equipment, and I believe that machine, it was either given or sold to Robert Blake, and then Robert Blake put it in his home. I've never seen a Bob Clark design other than these pictures, and so I don't even know if Bob Clark machines even exist anymore, and if they do exist, I would love to see these in person. So if you have ever seen them, or if you own them, please contact me. I'd love to see these machines that Bob Clark designed back in the 50s and 60s. There were two other manufacturers back in that time period, Ed Jubenville and Dan Lurie. And so they were competing against each other with some of their equipment. The bicep machine was a very popular machine back in that time period, and it was a very simple design, and it was just really worked really well. And this one I'm very excited about because this is the actual arm bomb. So here's a picture of it. It's a 1960s ad, and there were two versions of this particular machine. There was the basic model, which just had a straight bar that wasn't chrome. It was just a straight black bar. And then the deluxe version, which this one has a chrome easy bar, and it swivels. And so both styles swivel, but the difference between this is that the deluxe version just has the upholstery is a little bit more beefed up, and then it has it has the easy bar curl, and it's in chrome. And so the price difference, the basic model would cost you $239, and the deluxe model would run you $279. Back in 1960s, I guess. The difference between this machine, the Dan Lurie and the Ed Jubenville machine, compared to the Clark machine, is that Clark's machine doesn't have a swivel bar, so the bar was fixed. So the bar was just locked in place and didn't really move. So you didn't have any freedom to move the wrist. Personally, I like this type of machine better because of the freedom that you have with the bar. Now the way it works is, underneath here there's a bar that you rest your knees against. So you get in this position where you have some leverage, and then you rest your arms on the pad, and it's extremely comfortable. It's just a lot different than using just a regular sit-down machine. So this has a little bit more, you have more power here when you're standing up and you're pressing your knees against this bar. You just incredible leverage. And so there's different hand positions on the bar itself. So you'd go a little bit closer grip, and then you curl right up, and you get that nice fluid motion all the way through. And the thing that's crazy about this is that there's no sticking point. You know, when you use some of the machines out there, or even when you're using the actual preacher bench from Vince's gym, which this is right here, and you're using a barbell, after a while, toward the end of the rep count, you start to get, fatigued, and you hit that sticking point. So you get stuck in the middle there. This doesn't have that. So you can crank these out, and it just really isolates and works the bicep through that full range of motion all the way through. You're doing a barbell, it's hard down here, and then it gets easier up here. This doesn't have that. So it works through the entire range with the same intensity as down to below, all the way through to the top. It's absolutely incredible, extremely comfortable. I mean, when I tried this for the first time, I was blown away how simple the design is, but how well and biomechanically it works. This is like, we're talking over 50 years old, and this machine is, in my opinion, it's better than a lot of the pieces that are out there that cost $3,000 or $4,000. This machine it's incredible. The angle is perfect. The way it glides is just it's incredible. Supinated position here, and it's just going to isolate a little differently on the bicep as we're curling up, going around underneath the arm. And then you can go into, which I call the Larry Scott style. So Larry would like to go out wide here, and he brings his elbows in close, here, and then go down, and then curl the wrist first, and then curl the weight. So you break the wrist here, curl. And so there's just 3 different positions that you can kind of play around with, and it just totally just blows up the bicep. And so it's just 3 positions that really hit the biceps, and it's just really a great, it's so much fun to use this because, you know, you can just put the weight down. You don't have to worry about trying to lift the weight over the bar and think about the last few reps and how you're going to get the weight over and have enough energy to do that. This you can just crank it out and then just put it down. And it's just a very comfortable, it's the most comfortable machine I've ever used. And then you can also do, so if you look at this picture here, Larry is on the Clark machine with the straight bar doing this particular reverse curl exercise for his brachioradialis. And so he's this was his signature move for developing those big bowling pin forearms. He would eventually graduate onto the preacher bench, and he would use a easy bar curl. And if you ever see a video of him doing it, he would crank out heavy weight, and he does this 3/5 movement to really isolate his brachioradialis. And I think that he would be very content with this machine if he had this at his gym back in his day, because this is the same idea. It's with the bent bar, but the great thing about it is that you don't have to worry about the weight in terms of having someone, if you don't have anyone to spot you, you can just crank this out. And you're doing that 3/5 movement here, just going up and down. And it just really, man, it gets your forearms like crazy. And again, you don't have to worry about, you know, getting stuck and then thinking, okay, well, how am I and then lift it off the bench. It's great because you don't need a spotter, and you can just really go for it and put a lot of weight on and then just crank it out, and then just put the bar down when you're done. So you don't have to negotiate and think about how do you get the weight off after you've all been fatigued in the forearm. It's an incredible machine. I mean, again, it's very lightweight. These machines were designed for the home, but strong enough to withstand a commercial setting. And the great thing about this machine, it's so small that, you know, it just fits perfectly into my basement. So this is just a great piece of bodybuilding history. It's something that I had to have. I had to have it in the Vince's Gym Museum because it's very similar to what Vince might have had at his gym, because he had that Bob Clark design machine. And I think that this would have been something that Vince probably would have had as well if he would have had more machines in his gym. And so it's just a great machine. It's something that you know, I'm very excited to have. When I found this machine, it was in unbelievable condition. A lot of times when I find old machines, especially 50 to 60 years ago, they're rusted, the upholstery's all ripped up. You know, it's just they've been abused. And so I have to put a lot of money into renovating them. But this one, it just looked like it was brand new when I found it. And I was so excited to see it. And the first time I curled it, I was sold, man. This thing is incredible. This is like, I can't explain it. The angle, how comfortable it is, the way the machine works itself, it's ideal for building great biceps. And so what I normally will do is I'll work out on the preacher bench, and then when I get too tired on this one, then I come over to here and finish out a few more sets. And it just really blows up my biceps. It's absolutely a game changer to the way I train. So this is a great piece of bodybuilding history. Guys, this is the famous arm curl machine from the 1960s, otherwise known as the arm bomb. I hope you enjoyed this video. Would like to learn more about my programs or my online training, you can visit me at my website at www.darylcohen.com. I want to thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.